Welcome to Self Actualizers. Your boy Alpha back with another interview. Interviewing real people with real results, fulfilling, areas that they felt like they were meant to be called or called to become. But first off, we're going into the political realm. I got my sister-in-law. You guys have a familiar face. I've seen her before. Not a new face.
The same sweater.
Facts. So we're here. We're gonna introduce you, say your name, your background, and we're gonna get right into the interview.
Okay. So my name is Raven Brown Williams. I am currently the special advisor for an elected official.
All right, cool. So
There.
That's good. Honestly, I always say, like, now that you say that, like, explain that to like a young person. Like, what does that?
What is a special advisor?
Yeah, what does that?
So that's the other thing.
Require?
I think, like, in an elected official's office, your title doesn't necessarily correlate with what you do every day.
Okay.
And the reason I say that is because in my role, it encompasses more roles than just the title.
Okay.
Would like allude to in a way.
Okay.
So prior to being a special advisor, I was his deputy press secretary. So a deputy press secretary would be like, I'm trying to think in terms of like private institutions what the equivalent would be, but it's almost like you're doing PR, but specifically for one person, and it would be the elected official. So in our office, we had the director of communications, the press secretary, and then the deputy press secretary, and that was what I was. So my current role as special advisor, I still do communications.
Okay.
And in that, it's like speech writing, social media management, a host of other things, quote writing, pitching, things of that nature. But then on the other side, because I do live in the community that the person serves, I also do community grants. So when people are reaching out for funding streams, nonprofit organizations, I'm the person for the district. So you guys
will kind of
you go through me, and then I get that, gather information, give it to you, and then if it's approved or not approved, I'm the one liaising with you through that until it gets to the next stage. So there's a lot of things. There's like, So it's like even some of the stuff, even some of the stuff I don't even think about because I just go with it and we just go about it. Because it's not just those things. It's like so many more, so much more.
Okay. So would you call this? So then would you call this a job or a career for you?
I think you could see it either way. I think it is a career, but I think communications is a career. That's the path. Right. But I think that it can be seen as a job. A job is a career, and a career is a job. It just depends, I think, of your outlook. Right.
Which makes sense a lot. So then, I know you said that you have many titles within a day. So I guess let's look at a day in your shoes. Like, what does your day look like? Maybe you could pick anything specific. It don't have to be everything, but whatever you feel like a young person can see and hear, and like, okay, I can do that. I can identify with that.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things. Like, for instance, like on a busy day, say I'm out in the field, I'm going to a local church. If they have a nonprofit or arm and they needed some information on grants and stuff like that nature, because I don't want to get too in depth because people won't technically really understand, but just knowing, like, in terms of like state grants and things of that nature, just grants period, city, state, federal, a lot of nonprofits, specifically in like communities, like in our neighborhood, Black and brown communities, they don't necessarily have the resources to have somebody specifically doing grants for them, right? So they don't have the expertise in their offices to do these things. And sometimes it's not an office, it's a little mom and pop shop. So they don't know how to circumvent issues or cut red tape in terms of how to get the grant, and then once it's approved, what to do after that. So a lot of organizations that we've been working with, you get the grant and then it's never used, right? So what I've been trying to do is assisting them through that process so that the money is actually used in the community, and once again, like, for people to, everyday people, to utilize and know how to do it so that it's simpler, because some people are so afraid of government funding. and it's a weird relationship, but it's
Yeah.
more because they don't know
Right.
the details.
And that's a big
So,
deal. I feel like in general we don't see that on a day-to-day basis. Like,
yeah.
you have the idea, and I know many people in our community probably have the idea like, oh yeah, I want to start a nonprofit, but then it's like, then what?
Yeah, and like government entities can give funding to nonprofit organizations and rather than private institutions, right? So if you have a nonprofit organization, there's certain things or like a program or something that you want to run, you can apply for grants, not just through our office, but
Right.
through
Just
like this
general,
generally, because this state government is not just the legislature. So I work for the legislature in the government, but there's so many different branches and so many different agencies that you can apply to.
Remind people what the legislative
So
branch is.
the legislative
So
branch.
guys, just to branch off, a lot of the political stuff and just voting in general, got to give kudos to Raven Brown. And I always do it because it's sometimes ignorance is a thing, because it's like we don't know, but being able to have somebody who can just give it to you in a way that's more digestible to process, and it's like, appreciate that for sure.
Yeah. So the legislature in New York State is comprised of two bodies. So you have the Assembly, New York State Assembly, and then you have the New York State Senate. And I'm on the Assembly side, which is the lower house of the legislature, right? So it would be like comparable to federal government and how you have the Senate and then you have the U.S. House of Representatives. The Senate is the higher office.
Body. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
Okay.
So there's less senators than there are assembly people. So assembly members, the districts are smaller.
Okay.
The Senate districts are larger.
Okay. It still can be confusing, but
yeah, I think that people are so intimidated by like government that you think about it and you're like, man, but I don't want to get too far because I know you have more questions. Yeah. So I'll leave it there. But
okay.
Yes, so I do work for the New York State Assembly. So as I was saying, in terms of grants and stuff of that nature, you don't only apply to like your representative, because you're not applying, you're asking for a grant or whatever. Like you write a formal letter or something to your local representatives to ask for funding, and then but that's not the only avenue for state grants. Like you can get it from different agencies, or if they have different initiatives and stuff like that you can apply to, and all of that is accessible online.
Okay. I mean, again, that's really great information. I feel like, again, I think just in our community not really understanding those key things, and it's cool to even have somebody who is in it and understands it more better. But did you always plan to work in this
like government just generally?
Right. Yes.
So I always answer this question twofold. It's like twofold. Like it's a yes and a no. So I feel like a lot of people like you might talk to who are actually like elected officials right now, especially in my district, they'll say like it wasn't something that they thought about until something happened, right? Okay. And for me, it's the complete opposite. I originally wanted to go to law school.
Okay.
And I was like, girl, you can't lie. And people are like, you don't have to lie, but I'm like, what happened? Like I watched, first of all, I gotta talk to the camera.
Talk to the camera.
I watched too much SVU, right?
Okay.
So I was like, ooh, a criminal defense lawyer, I wanna do this. And I'm like, but if I know the person is guilty,
I know, right? So how you gonna?
I'm about to have to tell, but I can't snitch because then I'm going to jail. You feel me? Because
that's
that's too much. I don't like that. So I felt like to me, politics was like grazing the line,
right? Without
having to go over there. Like you know what I mean? Yeah. And I don't even have to pay for law school because
so you save some money too.
Well, did I save money? Who knows?
Right at that point. But
don't come for me. Don't come for me. Don't come for me, Trump.
So knowing that you went that direction, but then it pivots. So like and I always like to see like how what
was the pivot?
What was the pivot?
Literally, it was because I can't lie, and I spoke to myself, and I was like, bro, you cannot lie. You cannot be a lawyer. You cannot go up there and defend anybody because if they tell you that they are guilty, you're gonna snitch and you're gonna go to jail. And I'm too cute for jail, so definitely was not happening. Okay. But I was always like very much into politics and watching CNN and all of those other stuff because at one point I was like, ooh, I could be like a political analyst for CNN or whatever. Like, so I was very much into politics and local politics. Like I was very familiar with who represented me. So how I even started was like when I went to college.
I wanted to get more into that.
Yeah, so when I went to college, I went to SUNY Albany.
Okay, shout out to Albany.
and they had like an internship program that I joined for. They actually place you with an assembly member or a senator. Like you can do either or branch, and it's a full-time gig. So you're not taking classes. Your classes
This is
are the
undergrad or just
internship.
math?
No, this was undergrad.
Okay, undergrad.
So when I was in Albany, that was undergrad. So I did it my senior year.
Okay.
Yes. So it was from January to May, and you go there from like a full 9 to 5.
Okay.
And you get your college credits during that time, and you get paid.
So did somebody like talk to you? Like how did you even? Because you remember you said you was looking at law.
That was prior to I got to college. Like I went into. Okay, I went into college as a poli-sci major, knowing that policy was what I wanted to do. Like I wanted to do something political and in government. I didn't necessarily know where I would land, but I knew that's what I wanted to do. And in my mind, I was like, oh, I'm gonna be living in Washington, D.C. I'm gonna be on the Hill. Like this was my thing. And I was like, if I'm not there, I'm going to California. And then of course, my mom was just like, California? Oh yeah, got California. You know how much earthquake there, California.
Why do you understand the negative that's scaring people away from there?
What? Okay. So I left it at that. But then once I got there, I think too, Albany to me is SUNY Albany and then the legislature. Like it's a lot of people that work for the legislature or another like nonprofit organization. Yes, because it's the capital of the state. So you have the state senate, you have the assembly there, you have governor, like everybody there. In my from what I saw when I lived there was like either working for the legislature or working for some sort of government entity or a nonprofit organization in that place that also because like a lot of or lobbying or something like that. So they were all engaged with the legislature anyway. So you said so
there's no
so it
way
wasn't
out of it. Really.
So it's like I was there, I saw it. That's what I saw every day, right? And on campus, I feel like. One, I did a living learning community, so everybody around me wanted to do similar things, right? Since freshman year. So like a lot of the people I'm close to now are in government, are lawyers and stuff of that nature, or criminal justice, because I feel like people go to Albany, excuse me, for that. Like you know what I mean?
So it doesn't make sense. Not because I'm saying I didn't put two and two together until just now.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, that makes sense.
And that's what it is. Like once you go to Albany and you meet the people, everybody is either employed by government, employed by SUNY, like you know what I mean. Like that's what I see. That's crazy
because that's undergrad. You know what I'm saying? Like you was doing that undergrad compared to I went to city college. But like it was just I feel like it was a mix.
Yeah. But then too, like in those places, it's not. And I think that's the difference. And I tell people this all the time, like especially like younger people going away to school, like. Where you go to school is not the end all be all, but you should be conscious and mindful of what you're doing because where you are can lead to your next step. Like you never know. And like for a lot of CUNY schools, most of them are commuter campuses. So yes, you might see the same people every day because you have a class with them, but it's so many people in and out that you know what I mean?
Yeah, because you can see them today and never probably see them again.
And then SUNY Albany, like, the campus was big, but I think that the community of color was small in terms of everybody knew each other.
Right.
So, and then if you're like a poli-sci major, too, you know everybody, whether they're a person of color or not. Like, you're in this, like, by your major, you're like, I know this person. And then I'm in these living learning communities, and it's X amount of floors that all of us have a poli-sci major, and all of us are doing. So I had classes with people from freshman year to senior year.
That's
you know what I mean? So I think that's the difference. And or you can coordinate that with people because by the time you have your jobs, your internships, or whatever, you build your own community too. And sometimes you sit there and you're like, oh, we want to have classes together and we want to do this, and you guys. It
won't even feel forced because it's like. Literally all
I literally lived with them.
You're online.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so let's even go back further because I really like to go back, because and then we go and play with it. So, and even that. So you said that it's like you already knew that you wanted to do that, but like, when did you know that? Like, how old were you? Like,
I
what?
don't really have an age
Okay.
because
Okay.
I think like when you're young, there's a lot of things that you see that you're just like, oh, I want to do X, Y, and Z, or oh, I want to do this. Like I remember, I had to be single digits in age, and I remember I was saying like, oh, I want to be a dentist. And my dad is like, y'all go looking at people dirty mouth every day.
Oh
And
my
I was like,
God.
that is a fact.
That's
and
a
y'all
fact.
know I hate
You know,
mouths.
oh
Like,
my God.
nah, I'm good. So thanks for that.
Why?
But I was young.
Yeah,
And then
right.
like I couldn't be more, I like literally thinking back, maybe like 7, 8, 9, like around then was me saying that. And then I said I wanted to be a lawyer. And then that was the other thing because people say I be chatting too much. So
But again, you couldn't lie. So
I was like, okay.
So it's like it was.
So
it was
yeah,
by
so people
force by
also
fire.
So I was
'Cause
like,
you knew
oh, I want
yourself.
to be a
Sometimes
lawyer.
like you was all
And people
self-aware
would,
really early. Then like in a
I was
sense.
very self-aware. I think that, well, not I think, I know that from an early age, people know who they are, and it does take a while for some people to get in tune with them.
Yeah.
But that wasn't me. I think that just the person that I am and have grown to be,
Right.
I've always been very self-aware. Blessing and a curse, but
Right,
yeah.
right. Because again, like you said, some people it could be much longer.
Yeah, and then that's the thing. The journey is different for every person.
Correct.
You know what I mean? So you just ride the waves.
So we're gonna talk about
Ride the
challenges
wave.
then. So like, what are some challenges I guess people don't see in your career? Like, we always hear like the good things, but sometimes we want to hear the challenges. Like, what are some things
Well,
that you feel?
and it's not
Not too
necessarily.
crazy.
I think challenges just period. I think, like I said prior to, it's a journey, right?
Correct.
So it's not any single moment that shaped who I am. I think it's all of the moments compiled into one, and like not even things have happened at like in my position or in my role or where I'm at now, not necessarily with the same title, but just generally.
Yeah.
But through my trajectory, I've always been questioned, and I tell people this all the time. I've always been questioned because when I'm black.
Right.
2, because I'm a woman, but 3,
Right.
because I look younger than I am.
Okay.
Not a
So, yeah.
not a plug, but no. But seriously,
No,
like
yeah,
I remember at the job before this, and I was speaking to someone over the phone, right? And they had requested a meeting, and I was the head of that.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, you want to speak to me? I was the head of operations, and I was like, okay, cool. So I come out of my office, I walk to the person in the lobby, and they're like, oh, so you're so and so's assistant?
Oh.
And I'm like, no.
No.
So you're the intern? No.
Yeah.
You have yet to say hello,
Anything,
introduce yourself
correct.
or anything, but you're
already
making this
given
rash
a
assumption,
correct,
and then
already.
you're just like, what? So I think that's something that I've struggled with a lot, where, and I don't think it has anything to do with how I carry myself necessarily. I just think that people are used to
A certain
look, a certain
Right,
person,
right.
especially in rooms where I think younger women and young women of color are not present.
That's true.
So it's always an assumption, right? So I was like, no, I'm Raven.
And then
And it's
stuck.
like, huh?
They're stuck. Like
Yeah, and I'm
Because,
like, hi, so you're actually meeting with me.
Yeah,
So
interesting.
next, you know what I mean?
And I kind of could also it's like you said, it could be a blessing.
Yeah.
At the same time, because it's like you can already catch somebody's character.
I sit there and sometimes I laugh. And it is what it is. Like, or like, I've been asked a lot if I'm the assistant. There's nothing wrong with being that. But the thing is, why is that your first assumption?
Correct,
Like, you know what I
correct.
mean? Like, I'll go places and they're handing me papers and like, oh, hold this because we need a meeting with whoever. My boss is very good at diffusing those stuff and checking
Okay,
people
checking,
too,
right.
because like,
Yeah, because you got
he'll turn and he'll be like, no, that's who you actually need to speak to. So,
right. So
you know what I mean?
correct.
So,
Matter of fact, let's try
sometimes,
this again.
yeah, like sometimes I'm just like, whoa, cool. Like it's a lot, but
Okay.
I mean,
again,
I
it is
think
what
it comes
is.
with it. It comes with the territory,
Yeah.
especially in like in government spaces,
Correct.
because
Correct.
I
It's
think
not the norm.
yeah, I think spaces like this has historically been male dominated. Like politics, political arena has been heavily male dominated, and a lot of the women have been in the background. So that's always a thing. So it's like
Yeah.
you're breaking down barriers whether or not you
even
see
want
it.
to try to.
Yeah, whether or not you see it, and it might not be a forward facing role, and it may not be a role that people are like, oh, that's the person that's making the decisions, but sometimes it is. And I think that as I've grown through my career, I've been learning that it's okay to take up space.
Okay,
You know what I mean?
That's
Like
good. That's a good statement.
it's okay.
Sorry guys for the
Yeah, it's
vroom.
okay to be present and actually take up space rather than making yourself small, because that's another thing that I've struggled with, where it's like I like working in the background. I like doing these things. I don't necessarily need the spotlight.
Yeah.
But in that, there comes the assumptions too, because I'm not the person speaking. I don't need to be the loudest person in the room to tell you that I'm educated or anything like that. But what I've seen, like even networking with people, sometimes it's needed. So I've been allowing myself to take up space.
Yeah, no, it's good. And I think, like, especially I feel like being in the background as well, because sometimes people don't realize, like, it's like you guys are you're the engine, and like I could be the car, but like yeah, I look good
Your
on the
analogies
outside.
is hilarious.
I like the car, the outside, and then it's like, but at the end of the day, it's an engine.
Yeah.
That's the brain. So, and again, I think just being able to acknowledge, individuals who are in the background, I feel like more, and then, give people their credit. Credit is due, honestly. So, but, was there ever a moment where you kind of questioned, your career path or, your...
I think everybody goes through that. I think if you don't, you're lying too.
Yeah.
Because you know what it is too. Even as you elevate, sometimes you're like, am I good enough to be here? And you have like almost imposter syndrome, where you're just like, what? And in my mind, I'm still like 16, right? So
it's like
facts, I'm there like when did I become an adult? But I think everybody is questioning it. I think that you continue to question it as you grow, as you utilize your resources, as you take up more space. You sit there and be like, is this the right move for me? And I think that it's always okay to question it, and it's always okay to pivot.
That's good.
That's good. And you should allow yourself the space to do that as well. I think as you become older, you're used to, what is I'm trying to think of the certain frame, but the phrase that I'm trying to look for.
But from the passenger to the driver.
No, that's not it. But it's like you're used to this. You have like you're comfortable.
Yeah.
But sometimes comfortable is when you have to do more, make a change. Because in the uncomfortable is where you learn and grow the most.
Right. And I always say you have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable, because that's where you kind of see your next
you grow
potential.
and you shine and stuff like that.
Okay. So do you feel like, how has your mindset shift? I mean, again, your
mindset shift since when?
Since like starting this career, or just, and again, I think this, you said a lot already. So like your mindset have shifted with the different positions, the different experiences, from college to now. So I guess maybe what I'm trying to get to is like, is there any type of like stigmas in your field? Any misconception? Maybe, some people be like, yeah, social workers are people who always just are paper pushers and just resources. But like in your field, is there any like stigmas?
I think I think that's always going to be, there's always going to be a stigma attached, because every single person has an opinion. Everyone has an opinion. Not everybody's opinion matters.
Yeah.
So let me rephrase. You can have an opinion, but just because a broken clock is right 2 times a day doesn't mean it's not broken, right? So you can have an opinion and it's not necessarily correct, but that's your viewpoint. So I can't knock you for that, right? So a lot of people, especially in our community, don't have a great relationship with government. So they see people who work in government and they say that we don't do anything for them and we don't do this, but they don't necessarily understand every nuance behind what government does, right? So like even an assembly office and a constituent reaches out for certain issues, there are certain things that we can and cannot do as a government entity, right? It might not be what you want us to do at this point in time, but that's what we can do, right? So some people, I think, because they have this negative aspect or see those certain things on the news, they have painted a picture of all politicians and painted a picture of everyone who works for politicians and senior staff members and support staff, whatever that looks like, and you work in a government entity. I think there's some sort of negative connotation to that sometimes. But I think that once people actually reach out to offices and see the resources that we can provide and how we do help in communities and the things that we do, they're more willing to one, reach out, but two, they're more accepting of government officials in their community. Like for us, the Northeast Bronx YMCA is there, and that wouldn't have been present without government officials, right? So a lot of the things that we take for granted every day, government does that. Government takes care of it. You complain about potholes and all of these things. There are people that do that. The agency that takes care of that is that's another thing. But there's government agencies. First of all, with being that I spoke about potholes, I just want to say this. You know how many thousands of roads is in New York City?
I know.
So if you see, you know what I mean? I don't think people. I don't think people are not grasping it sometimes.
Or try to like get it.
Or try to understand. So it's like, yes, we do need. You do need to fill the potholes, and we do need to address certain issues in our community. However, sometimes things happen, and it may not be the fastest, but it will be done, and it will be done efficiently. It's just like you're an everyday person. Politicians are everyday people as well, and so are they staff exactly that work. So they have to work a 9 to 5. They have to, you know what I mean? So they're still curtailed, and then they have all of these things to do. It's the same thing. If you have 10 kids, you can't feed 10 kids at once, right? You have to do a round, you know what I mean? You're one person.
I think that's a better way to kind of like explain that, because sometimes I think, again, it would be so much noise of sometimes like we don't, through all the noise, you're not looking at the facts. You're not looking at the research or just pay attention. Like look outside and ask, how does this happen? How does this move? And I think,
and also closed mouths don't get fed. So if you see something in your community and you see something that you think that should be changed, speak on it. Reach out to your local elected officials. Reach out to your assembly person. Reach out to your senator. Reach out to your council member or whatever, because the things that impact us on an everyday basis is not the federal government. People be like so gung-ho about the Trump stuff and about the presidency and all of these things that's happening. Like, yes, that does have an impact on us, but that stop sign that's not present and the red light that's broken and the parks that you guys want updated and the community center that you want in the community and the funding you want for your nonprofit organization is local and state elected officials that have the hand in that, right? And the other thing is, federal law is federal law, but state law supersedes that, right? So when you're saying like, oh, for instance, I use the marijuana example because it's the easiest to grasp for people. Federally, that's still an illegal substance. In New York State, that is fully legal, right? So those are state laws that makes those things happen. So that's what I'm saying. Like, so people don't realize this, and they always, oh, my vote doesn't count. There are people that win seats by 2 votes.
Wow. Yeah. So
you know what I mean? Like, I've seen it. So that's what I'm saying. Like,
it all in a bigger aspect, it all counts, because your decision, somebody else can have the same decision like you, and then like we're 2 votes less because I said, oh, I just don't feel like my vote don't count.
Yeah, I feel
so
like
now if everybody says that, then it's like change doesn't
happen. And so that's like my thought process, just in terms of my career choice, I think that the main reason that I've been here for so long, just in the field, is because there are changes that I want to see made, and I have seen them. And I feel like I want a hand in continuing to do that. You don't have to be an elected official to do that.
Right.
You don't have to work for an elected official to do that either. But there's so many ways that you can help your community, and this is just one of them for me.
Nice,
And
nice. Okay.
it's
I like
something
that.
I kind of fell into, but something that I actually wanted to do in the same respect, because I didn't know I was going to be in state government. I thought I was going to be on the Hill.
Right,
you know,
right.
I'm going to sit next to Chuck Schumer like, yo, what up, Chuck?
Uh-huh.
But it's cool. I like
You never know,
we're fine.
right? You never know. You never know. Things can always change. But again, the fact that you are aligned with like what you're really passionate about, I think that's really great, because I think a lot of people, especially young people, or people just trying to figure it out and find alignment in that place. So I was like, what would you tell a young person who feels like stuck and unsure about their future?
The one biggest thing that I feel like I would tell a young person, or if I would tell, I like to rephrase questions like that and say what I would tell my younger self, that there's no time frame on anything, because success doesn't mean, oh, you have $1 million by 20. That can be for somebody, but that's not the same thing for everyone, right? So I think, especially now where we're in a space where social media is present, everything is very fast. Like, do you guys remember like when you used to have dial-up?
Right. Yeah.
And it took forever, and we'd be on Ask Jeeves asking questions,
correct.
and Ask Jeeves took 5 minutes to come and answer, and now you can do 2 seconds, and or you do a research project. And I don't know about you, but we had Britannica, a set of Britannica encyclopedias that we used to have to sit and look through everything.
I don't like the smell of that thing, but yeah.
And write them out, all the books and stuff like that. And now it's like you have information at your fingertips. And I think that's a good and a bad thing, because they don't work for it. Like, a lot of people don't work for anything, or young people think that certain things are just easy to come by, when that's not necessarily the case. You have to work at it, and I think that perfecting whatever craft it is that you choose, it's going to take time. And if it might take longer than your friend, it might take longer than somebody you see on social media, or it might not. But in that, I think that once you're in your own space and you realize, like, your time is your time, and when it is your time, no one could take that for you. What is for you is always going to be for you. Then you're, it comes to fruition and it works.
So as long as you're also taking that action, of taking those proactive steps. Maybe even you sit down sometimes
you just have to slow the world down too. I know, like, personally, I'm like, sometimes it's too, like, my mind is on ADD. Like, it's like so much things going on, and the overstimulation, that sometimes just slowing down, it gives you, it gives you the peace that you need to make some certain decisions and do certain things.
It's true. You know, I think, like you said, it's just very overstimulating. And the way that we grew up, everything was a process, and it was a slower process. You see something on Saturday, you wait till the next Saturday to watch the show, and things of that nature.
Now it's just like,
now it's just like, if I want to watch it right now, I could just binge it, and it's like, okay, that just defeats the whole purpose of it, I guess.
I love binging, so I ain't even gonna say nothing.
Okay, so how can a young person learn more about your career path, or connect with you?
Reach out to me. But in real life, like, if you do want to, like, get into government, I think reach out to your local elected officials. Many of them will gladly take meetings. If it's not them, their staff will take meetings. If you're interested in looking for internships, look for the opportunities that you want, or create them. Like, you know what I mean? Where I'm at right now, I'm not going to tell the whole story, but I was an intern for someone else, and I went to the elected official that represented me and spoke to myself.
Oh, wow. That's dope. And then
called from there.
So basically, like you said, closed mouths don't get fed.
Closed mouths do not. And I didn't get the job then. It was years after that. I went to a different job, everything, and then ended up here. Because you make connections,
even though,
like networking.
So the funny thing, so like, even though that you planted a seed, sometimes they won't just sprout right away. You won't have access.
It takes time, and that's why I'm saying, like, everything happens in a time frame that's meant for you. All flowers don't grow at the same speed, right? You're required to nurture. You're required to water them, fertilize, and do these things. And you might have a tree didn't grow there overnight, right?
That's true.
So everybody's speed is totally different.
Right.
So.
Yes. that's Raven Brown Williams for you guys, ladies and gentlemen. So, but first of all, I want to say thank you for just giving us some more insight into what you do. We appreciate all that you do
Thank
because
you.
that's a big deal in government in general, and I learned a lot more too.
Gotcha.
So that's Self Actualizers. So it's your boy Alpha. I'm out. Peace.
Bye. Thanks for having me.
Like, follow, share. Bye.